Everybody, just wanted to talk to you about the 2 extra credit assignments we did last time. Okay, a couple things about the extra credit assignments. First, I really appreciate all the feedback on making the major assignment sheet a lot better. I think it's a lot clearer, and that's definitely going to help out all of the students in the future. And I'm sure they will all thank you for all your input. I'm going to make a few tweaks to it. Right now, the vote between keeping it chronological versus keeping it as it is versus 2 separate sheets is kind of equally split between chronological and 2 separate sheets. And a little bit more going for 2 separate sheets, but at this point I figure there's no real reason not to put them both up, so leave that for future students to decide, I guess. If you get any other thoughts, any other way I can make the major assignment sheet better, or anything else in the class, I'm more than happy to hear from you. If I haven't mentioned this already, one of the things that students told me they'd like is a lot more sample student writing, and we did a certain amount of it in here. And I'd love to have more current documents for you to look at. If you go to course documents, there is a form called the Writing Use Permission form. I need your permission to use your papers for future classes, but that's all I will ever use it for, future classes, and I will keep everything 100% confidential. I'll change all the identifying information. And that would really help me make the class a bit more user-friendly for future use. So please do consider giving me permission. As I said, the form is in the Week 15 folder, and it is also in course documents. You can just sign it and take a picture of it or scan it and send it to me, or whatever you'd like to do. And that would very much be appreciated. The other thing, I also asked you how you were doing with everything. This is far from a normal semester. It's been a very, very weird year, as an understatement, for ever since March, really. And this isn't what most people thought college would be like, sitting, talking over videos and texting all the time. It definitely wasn't what I thought we were going to be in for. But I think we're doing the best we can on it. It's important, the longer we have to stay in this isolation model, I think it's important if you keep in contact with your teachers. We do have sympathy for you. We want you to succeed, but you gotta let us know about stuff, and we'd be thrilled to talk to you about anything you need. Keep us in the loop if you have any kind of problems. The other thing to keep in mind, a number of people are doing very well and have found some stuff that will help them cope. I know for me, I'm actually dealing with all this a lot better than I ever thought I would be. And I think that's because I started a strength training regimen at the beginning of the semester. And having some level of exercise really seems to help me out. Trust me, I'm not an exercise guy as a rule, but it seems to be paying some benefits here. The major thing I want to get across, though, is please, if you feel you need help, if you feel you're not coping as well as you could be, please do get help. We have a counseling center on campus that will be thrilled to help you. And if the first person you talk to isn't 100% right for you, I'm sure they can get you into somewhere else. If you don't get help from them, get help from someone. There was a time where it used to be a real taboo thing to not talk about mental illness and mental difficulties, but thank God we're out of that now. And there's no shame. It's a medical condition as much as anything else. If I had a broken arm, I wouldn't say I'm too much of a man to go get it seen by a doctor. And if I have a mental illness, there's no reason not to get help for it. I'm trying to make this a bit more normalized because there was a time where my doctor suggested that the insomnia I've had all my life was probably related to my depression. And I'm like, well, I've always had problems getting to sleep at night. And he's like, you were probably always depressed. And all of a sudden, the lights opened up. And I realized why high school was the way it was for me. And if I would have thought about getting help, if I would have thought about talking to people about my difficulties at the time, if I would have been aware that I wasn't thinking normally at the time, my life could have been a whole lot different and probably a whole lot better. Don't get me wrong, I love my life, but still. So, I'm really an advocate for talking to people and getting help if you need it. We have the counseling center on campus. You're already paying for it. You might as well use it. If not there, get help somewhere else. If you can, some level of regular exercise is a shockingly good thing for you. It helps get endorphins. It helps keeps you focused. Talk to someone and get help. I'm always happy to talk to you. I know it's kind of weird. We've never actually met each other, but I'm more than thrilled to provide whatever help I can. But if you don't get help with me, get help from someone. We're probably going to be in a pandemic lockdown for a little while. I think Fauci has said probably it might start easing up this time next year. So the more coping mechanisms we get, the better off we are. So, in summary, get help if you need it. Talk to your teachers and keep them aware of what's going on, because if we know what's going on with you, we can do something about it. I am thrilled that a lot of you are coping. Few people asked me how I was doing. Thank you for that. I'm dealing with this a lot better than I thought I would be. I mean, there are times where pressure gets to me, and for someone with depression, social isolation isn't always the best thing. But I'm dealing pretty well. And it's the interactions I do have, I try to take to heart the most, which is why I'm doing my best to reach out to people, including you. Hope you're having a good rest of your semester. Hope you're finding ways to cope. Get help if you need it. Keep your teachers in the loop. I'm pulling for you. This is not an easy time, but I'm glad that we can at least talk about stuff. Thanks, people.